You would have been living under a rock if you didn't see this one coming. Uh, Kyle Rittenhouse, he just seems to not be able to stay out of the news. Now, I had tweeted him a couple of times. I'm pretty sure he didn't see my tweets because there was too many getting hate tweets. And I said to him, I said, Kyle, lay low, give some time to go past, and then reemerge. But that's not what he did. He was always tweeting and out there being seen. Now, I know he's young. Guess what? He's what, 18 now? 18, 19. Anthony Huber's father is suing Kenosha, the government, the Kenosha government, police station, and specifically Kyle Rittenhouse. That whole situation was a complete mess. A complete mess. And I believe the, how can I say, the blame should, in my opinion, be placed on the government, Kenosha government, because they could have done things completely different than what they did. Now, newspaper articles were saying how Kenosha deputized what they called militia. And I really don't want to say militia because that has a negative term. Um, and really, it was the first police force, line of defense, whatever you want to call it. And Kenosha deputized a bunch of people loosely knitted together and really didn't have any type of uniformity as far as who was in charge and would the subordinates take orders from the person that was giving them. Complete disaster. Now, you may disagree with me, and that is okay. We still have the First Amendment. They're trying to get rid of that. Now, Anthony Huber's father, I feel sorry for him. Now, you may look at his son as the drug of humanity, a scourge. He deserved it, whatever it may be. It doesn't take away the fact that his father's son, I'm sorry, yeah, his Anthony's father, he lost his son. And however we may feel about it, it doesn't take away the fact that that's his son. And he would always love him. And whether if he had an opportunity to try to, steer him in the right direction. And if I'm correct, Anthony Huber had a son himself. And his son does not have a father. And again, I'm not saying anything about what he did was right or wrong, or whether if ooh, Kyle Rittenhouse, whatever he did was right or wrong. It just was a whole situation. And to me, the government caused that entire situation because they could have had other agencies to come in and who were professionally trained to deal with situations like that and not the average person who simply knew how to pick up a gun and shoot it. It was way more to it than that to be able to de escalate. Now, having said all that, let's get into it. Madison, Wisconsin, and it's quite interesting. This is Yahoo News. I'm kind of surprised. A federal judge in Wisconsin rules Wednesday that a wrongful death suit filed by the father of the man shot and killed by Kyle Rittenhouse during the protests in 2020 can proceed against Rittenhouse, police officers, and others. The father of Anthony Huber, one of the men who one of the men shot and killed by Rittenhouse, filed a lawsuit in 2021 accusing officers allowing for a dangerous situation that violated his son's constitutional rights and resulted in his death. Anthony Huber, father, Anthony Huber's father, John Huber, also alleges that Rittenhouse, who was 17 at the time of the shooting, conspired with law enforcement to cause harm to protesters. John Huber is seeking unspecified damages from the city officials, officers, and Rittenhouse. Now, man's grieving. I don't know whether if I would go that far to say that Kyle Rittenhouse conspired with law enforcement or whatever entity he's trying to attach that to. Now, I will say that the government caused an unsafe situation. Oh, most definitely they did. I don't know if Kyle Rittenhouse will. Um, I don't know if he will be fined liable. I truly don't know. Now, whether if his actions by not listening to other people telling him what to do and what not to do, and he did what he wanted to do, um, who knows? Who really knows? But by him being 17 at the time of the incident, and I'm not trying to minimize it by calling it an incident. It's just, but the article goes on. This is really something. Kenosha is going to get sued the mess out of. They might as well just change the name of Kenosha and changing it to something completely different. But in allowing the case against Rittenhouse and others to proceed, the judge said that Anthony Hubert's death could plausibly be regarded as having been approximately caused by the actions of the governmental defendants. And I agree. I really agree with that because what the government did, it just was just messy, just so messy. Rittenhouse attorney Shane Martin said in a phone interview that it is important to note that the ruling does not address the merit of the case. It only follows the procedure to the next phase, and that right there is really true. So even though that the courts are allowing the case to proceed, it just simply means that it's allowing to proceed to go through the motions in order to get to some type of resolution. Now, as they go forward, the case against Kyle Rittenhouse could be dropped, and then against the officers and the government could continue on. Who knows? While we respect the judge's decision, we did not believe that any evidence of a conspiracy, and we are confident that as a Kenosha jury found, Kyle Rittenhouse that evening was not wrongful and were undertaken by the self-defense, Martin said. Now, okay, now this right here is two different things. Him being criminally charged and him being civilly charged is less of a burden because he did shoot and kill two people. Well, he shot three people but killed two. Now, as far as the wrongful death, it has to go through the motions and maybe he just may get sued. Maybe. Don't know. But then again, 3 years had passed and a lot has happened within those 3 years, and maybe people may feel differently about Kyle Rittenhouse. Who knows? Mm, Anthony and private investigators of John Huber spent over 1,000 hours trying to locate Rittenhouse, tracking tracking down addresses in 7 states before they found the home of his mother and sister in Florida. The lawsuit was served on Rittenhouse's sister, who said that he wasn't home. Aldman said that was sufficient to qualify being served. So just to how they're jumping all over the place to try to serve him and couldn't find him, but they found his family and said, "Here, give that to Kyle. He has been served." And that is exactly what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp. She had no place at all where she settled. So it was called, what is it called? A diverse, oh my goodness. I can't remember the legal term, but it was diverse location or something of that sort, to where you have no residence. You have no place where you are paying bills, no rent, no mortgage, no nothing. So nowhere in the United States she was able, Johnny Depp, or I'm sorry, not Johnny Depp, the insurance companies were able to sue her. So quite interesting, quite interesting. But what do you think? Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse is going to get sued for a wrongful death? Or do you think maybe he will be found not guilty but not liable? I want to thank you for stopping by, because you could be anywhere, but you decide to stay here with me and listen to my video, because politics runs the world. Now, whether if you agree with the politics or not, put something down in the comment section. Whether if you agree or disagree with me, that is okay. We can agree to disagree, or we can agree to agree. So please help me get to 500 subscribers, and then help me get to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for stopping by.